Greetings, everyone. It's Angelo Robles, and if you're live, it's a Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday and a spring day. I am back from many of my travels for a short time, and I've been knocking off those videos pretty intensely. And I'll talk a little bit as I wrap up about some upcoming schedules where I may see some of you on the West Coast. It'll be a lot of fun. So, welcome, everyone. I'm Angelo Robles, founder at Family Office and SFO Continuity and Billionaire Mastermind. I've been very focused on a lot of things relative to exponential technology and AI, and I think it's very important. But Family Office community is much more than that. And I think today's subject really, although perhaps a little narrow and niche to some of you, will really hit home and cause you to think for yourself. The ultimate thing that I believe we all should be doing, and the right questions to be asking, and topics that I don't think myself, admittedly, don't talk enough about, but would certainly love to. And I've been preparing a little bit of my sequillatry for tonight. And without further ado, everyone, shall we begin? So I noted, what is the family office for? In my opinion, why most family offices will not survive fruitfully into the next generation, but what the excellent few are doing about it. So I want to start with one question, a real one, and I go back to it, mentioning now for the third time. What is the family office for? That's a different question than what does it do? Important. We still need to answer that. Not who staffs it. Very important. We'll get to some of that later. Not what it manages, but a sense of intent and purpose on what is it for. Now, over multiple decades, I've asked this question around the world to probably over 100 billionaire principals. And most of them, at least on the first go, it's not like it just spews out of their mouth. They can't really answer it. They can tell me what it cost. They can tell me who runs it, the AUM they have down to that very day, the trust structure, sure, the investment committee. But when you ask what it's for, it at least gets a moment of silence, or you get an answer that might have been true. We'll come back to revisit this like 20 years ago and really hasn't been touched since. That silence is the most expensive sound in private wealth, because while you're not answering the question, your heirs probably already are. And often, from my experience and many others with decades in the community of wealth and people with resources, that principle, the elders are often not going to really like the answer. Let me say something that sounds like a contradiction, I understand, before I hope I have it make sense. The capabilities a family office is supposed to deliver are actually more powerful today than they've ever been, not less, more. Investment research executed at excellence is more powerful today than 20 years ago. The information available, the tools available, the speed at which a sharp team can move to their from thesis to kind of position, none of that has gotten worse. It's gotten dramatically, I would say, better. Tax planning, again, executed at excellence, is more powerful today than it's ever been. The strategies are deeper. Some of the talent is simply amazing. The structures are more elegant. The optimization across jurisdictions and entities and generations is definitely sharper than a decade or decades ago. I think deal flow is more powerful than ever. There is more proprietary capital chasing more interesting opportunities than at any point, I believe, in modern history. A family office plugged into the right networks with the capital and the speed, which is supposed to be one of the strengths of a family office, and conviction to act, has access to deals that no institutional investor on earth can touch. Coordination now across legal, accounting, philanthropic, operational matters. Come on. When it's actually happening at the level of excellence the family deserves, compounds year after year, and truly decade after decade. Well, and control, one of the tenets of a single family office specifically. And stay with me, the conversation, whether you're a rising entrepreneur, successful business owner in the world of finance, obviously a family office, or servicing that community, this conversation is equally important to all of you. The tenets of a family office are privacy, control, and customization. So control of capital, control of information, control of decision making, control of legacy, control of who has access to what. Control is probably the most underrated word in this entire industry. Control is the thing that every principal says they want, but truly, does every principal really have? Now, these are not obsolete capabilities. These are not commoditized functions. These are the most powerful functions in private wealth, AKA family offices and beyond. They are more powerful today than they've ever been. So, why is, and I believe this, why is kind of the single family office in some sort of crisis? Sometimes you have to face reality. It's in a crisis because the bar has moved, but most family offices have not. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to probably make some of you uncomfortable, at least within the community. Your heirs often already know your family office kind of isn't keeping up to their perspective. It doesn't mean it can't, it's not. And the answer gets a little complex. They haven't told you, well, partially because they love you, because they don't want confrontation or a fight, unless you're my child, then you do. Because you're the principal and they're not, because you're telling you would be the thing you built isn't doing the job anymore. That may hurt, but they know. I know. I sit down and have for 20 plus years with the rising generation, some second gen, third gen, beyond, young, even under 18. And I ask them the same question that I ask the principals. What is the family? Well, what is the family for? Yeah, that's one question. But in this specific video today, what is the family office for? And the answers I get back are often nothing like what the parents would expect. Let's think about it. You got to dig a little deeper than on the surface here. And remember, we're in 2026. The heirs are likely well-educated and sophisticated. They have networks sometimes the family office doesn't have. They have access to deals through platforms the family office often would never even know to source. They're running investment theses with tools that produce sharper analysis in 20 minutes that some antiquated investment committees produced would take them months. They're watching from their perspective. I'm not saying I agree all the time. They're watching the family CIO present material that they could have produced themselves in an afternoon. They're watching a tax strategy and seeing optimizations that really aren't being made. So I know I could be a little bit tough on the young ones sometimes, but again, think of their education, their experience, the technologies and resources at some of their fingertips. They are watching the operational coordination and seeing 15 vendors with conflicting incentives that nobody is integrating that. And they're asking quietly at first, carefully, but they are asking, what is this? Can I go with the word to you? Institution, the institution of the family and the family office actually doing for us that we couldn't do, they think. I'm not saying they're always right, better, faster, and cheaper ourselves. That is the question your heirs are asking, and why most family offices don't last beyond the founder, which often is about 15 years. They're asking that right now about the family office that you built. And if you don't have an answer, they're likely going, in my experience, going to dismantle it the day they have authority to. Not because they're ungrateful, not because they're entitled, maybe because sometimes they're right. Now, let me sharpen this a little bit. Most family offices in the world are operating at a level of execution that, like I kind of hinted at earlier, if the next gen were to put their focus on with today's resources, they can likely replicate on their own with, again, the tools and networks available to anyone with effectively capital, that's important, and conviction. If your family office is operating at that level, and most are, your heirs have already figured out that they don't need it or it's not optimized to their needs. And they aren't going to tell you that, or often even the family office that. They're going to wait. And when the transition happens, and I've seen this for decades, they're going to dismantle, and now more than ever, the institution that you built because it's not delivering anything that they believe they can't get better elsewhere. Again, one of the reasons why my private community for family offices, entrepreneurs, and executives is called SFO, the acronym for single family office. A little limiting, I'll agree. But the latter part, continuity, understanding the intent and purpose of the family, how that coordinates over into the family office, the culture, leadership. We're going to get to some of that and the importance of that within the family and the family office. But that word continuity, we have to wonder why there's challenges in families over generations, which a lot of it doesn't have anything to do purely with the investments. We have to understand why it's created by often a top-down authoritative governance because it's convenient that doesn't teach a level of more bottoms-up encouragement with rising generations, especially with more than one quote-unquote heir, depending on the size and scale of the family. So there's lots of complexities here, why most family offices don't last generation after generation. Sometimes they do, and that's great. And by the way, there are some times when even a great family office may have served a purpose and it's time to move on. We'll have some upcoming programs and even some guests later in the spring and summer where we'll go a little back and forth, maybe debate on something like that. But I think it's a very important discussion. Again, why have a family office if you're not going to be excellent? So there's much challenges within that comment. What is excellence? How is it defined? What are the goals? Can we do this internally? Can we do this excellently? Or why not? Why bother? How do we outsource? How do we integrate that? There's a complexity and nuances of the questions within really any industry, but including, again, what I've given my life to for decades in the family office community. If excellent is defined as a top 5 or 10%, that honestly means out of 100, that whatever 90, 95 are not excellent. But of course, if you would ask all of them, they're going to say they're excellent. Another set of measures and checks and balances and a deeper discussion that we could dive into at a little bit of a future time. So there is, because I'm such an advocate of the correct and right single family office, an existential crisis that nobody in the industry will name out loud. And it's frustrating to me. Now, let me show you the other side, because there is a counter argument. There is a version of the family office that is not in crisis. There is a version that the heirs are not waiting to dismantle. I don't know if I'm working in one of the family offices. I hope we're doing so awesome that that's us. There is a version that actually they are fighting to be a part of. I want to tell you what that family office looks like, because I also work with those families or help families that are more in crisis convert to a family where there's better alignment within the generations and the family office. I told you I'm not all AI and geopolitics. They do exist. They're more quiet. They're often rarely up on stages, but they are real. And they are pulling away in their own often quiet way than everyone else. The excellent family office engages the rising generation, period. Not as future inheritors, as current participants. Of course, this takes elder and family buy-in. It's a deeper discussion. The heirs are in the room, in the decisions, in the design of what that quote-unquote institution of the family and family office is becoming. The principal will often need to decide explicitly, intentionally, that the next generation will not be handed a finished product per se and asked to maintain it. That's not going to work. I'll tell you from my experiences. They will help the institution that they will eventually run, and that kind of changes everything. The heirs in those families do not ask, why do we need a family office? They ask, how do we make this one even better? Isn't that better for all of us, including those that are in the family office and those that service it? Because it is theirs, because they helped to shape it, because their fingerprints are on it. The excellent family office, really bluntly simple, is focused on, well, what a shock, it's in the name, on family. Not, well, kind of, but not per se on assets, on family. The institution exists to serve the family, its identity, its relationships, its continuity. My God, it's in my name. Its values, its purpose across generations. Sure, the investment performance matters because it serves the family. The tax strategy matters because also, again, it serves the family. The operating businesses, same thing. The asset management is downstream of the family, not the other way around. Most family offices have this, of course, exactly backwards. The excellent ones have it right. The excellent family office is anchored in getting to the truth and is understanding of intent and purpose within the family and how it trickles down and then some into the leadership, purpose, and effectively the culture of the family office. There is an organizing thesis that transcends really any single generation. The principal can state it often in two sentences. The senior team can state it. The heirs can state it. It's not up on any sort of website. It is the spine, the backbone of the family and the family office. It's the thing that every decision is measured against. It's what makes the family office coherent across decades, which apparently has proven hard to do, across leadership transitions, which are inevitable, across market cycles, across generational changes. The excellent family office is built, which is, again, why I named what I do. And I know it's a narrow name, SFO, continuity. It's built around continuity. The intent does not live in one person's head where it dies when that person even just stops paying attention. It is encoded in governance, in processes, in standing decisions in the team, and for sure in and helped shaped by the rising generation. The institution is engineered to outlast the principal who built it with the purpose intact. The excellent family office takes education seriously. The rising generation is not just kind of brought into rooms, they're educated, and there is a difference deliberately. Yes, I get it. They got to buy into the interest of it. And it's your responsibility as well across investing, operations, governance for sure, philanthropy, across the family's histories and value. They understand that wealth that they are, let's go with the word inheriting, how it was built, what it is for. And there are, whether people like it or not, a sense of responsibilities to that. What optionality that gives them, which it does, but what it demands of them as well. That education cannot be an afterthought. It is the central work of a family office that's going to be sustainable with the family over generations and through transition. Without it, the family office really, it's been proven, does not survive even really a single generation or once the principal or creator moves on or gets incapacitated or dies. The excellent family office delivers integration at excellence. The investment thesis informs, sure, the tax strategy informs the operating company, informs the philanthropic strategy, and so on, into the succession plan. One family office, one intent, one set of decisions flowing through, the capabilities are in sync. They compound, a word I've been using a lot lately. It's so valuable. They compound on each other. The whole, isn't this always the case? The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. The excellent family office sure is nimble. Decisions that take some family offices with over reliance on systems, committees, and structures, often months and months, 6 months, may take them 6 days because clarity collapses friction. The excellent family office is built around control as architecture, control of capital, control of information, control of the kind of the decision process, control of the perimeter, if I could use that verbiage, if you don't mind, control as engineered structure, not as a feeling the principal has when they walk into the office. The family office has to have that reason, that heartbeat to exist. The next generation will want to fight to keep it. The heirs will not ask, why do we need this? They will ask, how do we make this even stronger for the generation after us? Even though in time, I get it, goals change and the people will change. Like an excellent quality sports team that is good, often, sometimes it feels decade after decade. So, two completely different family offices. One the heirs are waiting to dismantle, kind of most. One the heirs are racing to inherit the same wealth, same industry, same era. The difference is commonly not capital. The difference is not access to advisors. The difference is the choices the principal, the elders made about what the institution of the family and family office is for, and how the rising generation is engaged about whether intent and purpose actually organize the work. Think about that. About whether continuity and education are taken seriously, or often they're talked about, but they're not taken seriously. And whether the family and family office is built to last beyond the founder. Maybe it's not. Maybe that is the right move. It depends. Now, let me tell you the most important thing I've learned over my decades being in the community and meeting incredible families and family offices around the world. The single most important thing a family office can do, and I promised I would come back to this, it's hire. Hire excellently. Pardon me. People are still number one. We'll see. AI is probably number two, and it's changing things. But right now, people is number one. Everything I described, the engagement of the rising generation, the focus on the family, the intent and purpose, the continuity, the education, the integration at excellence, the nimbleness, the control, none of it happens without excellent people. None of it. Superstars are underrated. There are no statues to committees. Even one incredible person could change everything. You cannot buy your way to it. You cannot consult your way to it. You cannot software your way to it. You cannot structure your way to it. Not even. The institution in the end is its people, period. And here's what most principals get wrong, including at hiring at the family office level. I'm not saying credentials aren't important. They can be. They hire for credentials when maybe they should at least initially be looking for the highest of resiliency and character. They hire for resume when they should be hiring, how about for fit, with the family's intent. They hire for technical skill, all things that are valuable, when they should also be hiring for quality of judgments. They hire people who will do the job when they should be hiring people who, how about raise the job, who will demand more of the institution than the principal would be demanding on their own. Oh, that is unfortunately harder to find than what it sounds. The excellent family office, relatively rare, should be a magnet for excellent people, because excellent people want to work on something that matters. They want to work for principals, families, rising gen who are serious. They want to work for rising generation members, at least initially, who are at least engaged. They want to be part of that institution of the family and the family office and be paid properly, very properly. But they want to be part of that intent. They want to operate at a level of excellence that they are capable of, not at a mediocrity that most family offices accept. Sometimes these mediocrity of family offices, your people have the inherent talent. The reality is most of us are not, well, you're getting into some of my talks I give at colleges now. I'll keep this part brief. Most of us are not the best versions of ourselves. We get comfortable. We're okay. We're trustworthy. We're competent. But are we incredible? You actually probably have a level of being incredible in you. Put your arrogance at the door, your ego at the door. Be a lifelong learner. Be a sponge. Put in the work. Put in the grind. Utilize some of the tools and resources. You hear me talk about AI all the time. You could be so much better. Now, is it up to the family, the heads of the family office, the leadership? Yes, but the buck at the end stops with you. Why don't you bring that all up on your own? In the intimate setting of most companies, family businesses, and family offices, what did I say? No statute to committees, only two incredible people. One incredible person, one superstar could change everything. Everything. If your family office can not attract that caliber of person, that's probably not a marketing problem. It's like a diagnostic. It's telling you something about the family and the family office itself. It's telling you that's the institution of what it could be. The family and the family office is not yet worth working for the people who would actually take it to the next level. And I'll go back and say, in family offices, give me a hand. For this excellence, you need to be paid at top level and properly, and you deserve it, every penny of it. There's other examples that I give relative to this. This baseball example is not a perfect analogy in a family office, but you'll get the gist of it. One incredible pitcher that could throw the ball at 99 miles an hour is worth 20 pitchers that throw the ball at 84 miles an hour. That guy's in today's game is going to get, they'll be batting 750 off him. So is one incredible person sometimes 2x, 10x, 100x what could be next? It is possible. It depends somewhat on the role. It's a little bit unique. Maybe that's true rarefied air and superstar. Maybe you're going to say, why are they going to want to work in the family office? Well, it depends. Maybe the family I'm talking about is a billionaire or decabillionaire family that has the resources and is striving for excellence and growth. We don't know. We don't understand what the goals are until we sit down and we break them down. Every family is different, but you'll find some commonalities and things that we learn along the way. Excellent people, basically do make excellent institutions. Mediocre institutions get mediocre hires. Mediocre hires perpetuate mediocrity inside the family office. That is the loop most family offices effectively get stuck in. I just see very, very few people who have the experiences that I have, and even those that are newer really talk about this. Forget what I discuss on geopolitical issues, deeper macro, and AI. Here's yet another one that challenges inside the family office and people. It's a sensitive subject. Some of you may find it a little off-putting, and maybe I shoot myself in the foot relative to membership. If you're like, hey, is Angelo really an advocate of who we are in the family office? I am the greatest advocate of the single family office of all time. I love and I dream single family offices. I just want excellence. And many of you actually do have, like I said, you're not yet the best version of yourself. Having the right mindset and resources and getting, treated properly and having the opportunities and compensated very, very well with encouragement for more are all things that we could work together better at. And I think that many of the people that talk in the community, sometimes you'll get Ron Diamond, my friend, and I know me and Ron getting some arguments here and there and butt heads a little bit on LinkedIn, but we're relatively on the same page in this one. Family offices need to get better. It starts with people. I'm going to put AI and technology are pretty close too. Systems are created by people. So that's number 3. You could actually have too many systems and it bogs down in bureaucracy. So that's not always good either. People, incredible people working together as a team. Nothing could beat that. I have no guarantees in 5, 10, or 15 years. AI is changing everything. But I know for now, this is very, very important. And I think family offices need to be held to a higher standard. You servicing them or working with them, the same thing. And maybe collectively, we could learn from each other and begin to make all of this begin to happen the way that it should. Now, breaking the loop of mediocrity, yeah, is it the principal's job? It's the most important job. It's the job that determines whether everything else I've talked about actually happens or doesn't. If you only fix one thing in your family office in the next 12 months, get the talent and that direction of the talent right, and you practically can't go wrong. Kind of fix who's in the room, fix who is making the decisions, fix who is sitting next to the rising gen and shaping how they think about the family's wealth and purpose. Get that right, and the rest becomes, kind of go with the word possible, get that wrong, and really nothing else, even the greatest AI, it's just not going to matter or matter as much. People are number one. Now, I want to talk to you about something else and how this all ties together that nobody in the industry talks about honestly. And that is the thing many of you, perhaps whether watching live or on recording, are somewhat wrestling with, maybe when no one else is watching. Now, do family offices add complexity? And do families and principals actually want that? Give me a second. Well, that is the truth, but not all complexity is bad. How about that? Some complexity is necessary as the architecture of doing sophisticated things across generations, but it is complexity. As principals age, my experience, most of you don't want to add more complexity to your life. You want less. You want a level of simplicity, I would almost add. You spent, what, 40 or 50 years building something incredible. And at this stage in your life, you are probably tired of meetings, tired of hiring and firing, of making decisions left and right, of vendors, tired of being maybe the final answer of every question. And that tension is real. It is honest, and is the thing that nobody says out loud, because the entire family office industry depends on the principals continuing to want more rather than less. But I hinted at it several times during my conversation tonight. There is a time to change the dynamic, maybe even shrink the family office, and shockingly, even times where it may be the best decision to dismantle it. I probably got to get Catherine McCarthy on. She has deep experiences with that. I haven't seen her for years, but it would be great to reconnect. So my experience has been true to this as well. This partially has to do with governance, engaging the rising generation, and passing the baton, so to speak, as of it's only top down, and then poof, it just disappears. So they want simplicity that's legitimate, that is human, that is the natural arc of a person who has built something. They are now thinking kind of what comes next. But here is the trap. If your default into simplicity without engineering the transition, without bringing the rising generation that I hinted at into real leadership, without building the governance that lets the family office run without you, without preparing the people who will carry it forward, you actually won't get simplicity. What you'll get, well, you may get that, but you'll get decline. And I don't think you want that. You get, in this example, a family office, if you want to continue it, or the family wants to continue it, slowly winding down because the principal has stepped back, and no one is prepared to step up while they're stepping back. You get exactly the outcomes you are trying to avoid. A family and the family office, your heirs inherit in a weakened state. At the moment, they need it to be strong. Think about that. That's what an irony. That's the point when they most need it to be strong. True simplicity for the principal at this stage of life is not less of the institution of the family office. It's less involvement in the institution, sure. while the institution continues to operate at excellence, maybe even enhanced excellence. Nothing makes a parent more proud without you. That is a completely different problem than just stepping back. This requires the rising generation to be ready. It requires governance that, well, actually, governance. Good luck. It requires, without planning and hard work, it's not going to happen. It requires people in the chairs who can make decisions that you used to make. It requires the principal's intent, maybe, to be encoded in the family and family office so deeply that decisions without you in a room maybe are still decisions that you likely would have made. But again, I'm hoping even better. That is the real work of the next chapter for many of you. And it's probably, whether you like it or not, it's not really optional, because the alternative is that you either continue to run the institution of the family office at the cost of simplicity that you actually want, or you simply step back and watch it drift. And like that happens too. Engineering the transition is the only path to both the family office and really more kind of the direction and continuity of the family. So think beyond that, surviving and strengthening, and the simplicity you have earned the right, you've earned it, to want. That is leadership of the rising generation. That is governance, real governance. That is passing the torch in a way that honors what you built rather than simply even just dropping it off, dropping the ball. It's not something that you can outsource. It kind of is the principal's work. It's the last great act, perhaps. It's a little poetic. The last great act of the family office founder. If you don't do this work, the family office does not survive the transition without leadership. It doesn't matter how excellent the capabilities are. It does not matter how good the talent is. It does not matter how clear even the intent was. If the torch is not passed properly, the family, the continuity, the family office that should be supporting of continuity does not excel and disintegrates, doesn't continue. This is why excellent family offices are obsessive about leadership development within the rising generation, and even within the family office and the talent and resources there, about governance that has real authority, not symbolic authority, about succession, real succession, that is engineered and not just assumed. We all know what happens when you assume, about transitions that happen while the principal is still healthy and engaged, not after a crisis. That's gravely more challenging. Most family offices are just not obsessive about any of this. They talk about it. They have advisors who tell them the plan for it. They sometimes will write some documents about it, but they don't do the work. And when that transition comes, which I guess is inevitable, the family continuity, family office they built is really just not ready. And the rising generation is not ready. And the whole thing wobbles or fails again at exactly the moment when you need it to be solid. If you're at the stage in life, understandable. I still have some years to go, I hope, where simplicity is calling you. It's just not calling me yet. And many of you are. The answer is actually not to step back. The answer is to engineer for the family continuity in the family office and the people so that you can step back. There's a difference with the family office continuing to operate and maybe even exceeding when you were more hands-on. With the rising generation in true leadership, with governance carrying the intent you set. With the torch truly passed, that is the gift that you give the next generation. Not the wealth, the institution that knows how to handle the wealth, the legacy, and the people who know how to run the institution with excellence. What's one of the hardest lessons I've learned in my 20 plus years in this? The principals who built wealth are usually the ones most reluctant to ask the question because they built and what they perceive to be continuity for generations on end, but the, the they built the family office in the first place. The family office feels it's theirs. Asking, what is this for? Kind of may feel like questioning their own judgment. It isn't, though. It's actually honoring the founding. The family office you built was designed to serve the family, you, sure, but your family, your bloodline across decades longer. The only way that institution of continuity and family office serves a family across those decades or longer is it willing to interrogate itself every few years and ask whether it's still doing the job at the level that I think you and the family deserve. Whether the rising generation is engaged, whether intent and purpose are alive in the institution or have faded maybe into the wallpaper. Who does wallpaper anymore? Whether continuity is being engineered or just talked about, whether education is happening or being deferred, like whether governance has real authority or more symbolic authority, whether the people in the building are excellent or kind of just present, whether the principal is preparing the institution to outlast them or quietly hoping it will hold together long enough, like what most are honestly going to do. It's your choice. The capabilities have never, like I started early in this, never been more powerful. The bar has never been higher. The opportunity to build something genuinely excellent, something nimble, in sync, under control, anchored in intent, focused on family, engaging the rising generation, governed properly, staffed by incredible people, ready for the transition has never been greater. Am I holding all of that to the highest of bars? Sure, because I want excellence of you, your family, and the family office. And if you service the family office, I want you to be incredible and have incredible success for yourself. But you have to be willing to ask the question, and you have to be willing to act on the answer. I want to close where I started. Actually, I started, what is the family office for? Really, what are you for? What is the family for? What is the continuity, your intent and purpose? And then heading back to, what is the family office for? If you can't answer that question, if your senior team can't answer it, if your heirs, even worse, can't answer it, then your family office is operating without a thesis. It's just a matter of time. It won't make it. The powerful capabilities you have won't be compounding for you. They are running in parallel in silos against a bar set in another era, while your heirs are quietly figuring out what they can just simply do better, separate, not rowing together, but separate on their own. And the transition has not yet engineered for it to get closer, not further apart every year. It doesn't have to be that way. There is another version that I described of the family office, the excellent version, the one focused on family, continuity, intent, and education, the one that engages. There is no other choice. The rising generation, how about as builders and not just inheritors? The one staffed with incredible people who raise the institution of family continuity in the family office to the level that they and the family deserve. The one with the governance designed to carry the torch. The one the next generation will actually fight. They will fight to keep. The family office is available to anyone who's watching this, who this is a part of, if you're willing to listen and do the work. I mean, well, like I don't sell software. I'm not truly even here per se to sell you a consultative engagement. Like, I'm not here to say there's a 5-step program that fixes this. It's complex in its own way, yet simple in others. I'm actually really mainly here to tell you something far simpler. This is not work that you probably do alone. The principles that I see globally doing this work, actually answering the purpose, the intent question, engaging the rising generation, actually hiring incredibly well, engineering the transition, they kind of often do have one thing that I've noticed in common. They're not trying to figure it out by themselves. They are in rooms, yeah, sometimes with thought leaders that could provide some value and help and facilitate them thinking for themselves and asking the right questions. They're also in rooms with other principals and incredible people doing the same work, sharing what is working, maybe what hasn't worked. They're somewhat trading playbooks, testing ideas against people who have already tried them. They are getting honest feedback, often from peers who have nothing really to offer or sell them, and really no incentive, knowing how many often principles are, to even flatter them. That is the value of being kind of in the right room. It's not as much the content, not to say the content's not valuable, but you could get it if you know where to look almost anywhere. It's not even really advice. You could buy advice. It's being in a room with other incredible people and building a safe haven, an opportunity for incredible families around the world to come together who are taking this seriously at this level. Your problems, your advisors, your staff, well, again, sometimes this needs to come down to family office to family office, even executive to executive. And yes, over my 20 years in the industry and what I've been doing since I sold Family Office Association, it's what I've now built for about 2+ years. I built SFO continuity, and a lot of it is anchored around member only programming for principals and for executives in the family office around the world. It's taken me to the West Coast on some of these issues next week and Europe later in the summer. I prefer to keep this intentionally small. The conversations, of course, are intentionally direct. And yes, my members are purposely, quote unquote, curated, serious about the work that they need to put in for continuity within their family, including the rising generations and for the executives in the family office. Kind of the membership kind of is the work. The resources are real. The peer relationships are the most valuable asset because the people in those rooms are the only people who can actually understand what you're trying to do, because they're likely trying to do the same thing and solve some of the same problems. Each family is going to be different, but sometimes we can't see the forest through the trees. And having someone who's in your shoes step back and give commentary is very important. Advisors are important, but some of that value that I'm describing, you can't get from them. And sometimes conflicts do get in the way. You may not be able to even get it from your CIO specifically because they work for you or your accountant or attorney. Maybe they have a service to sell. You could usually only get this from other principals who are sitting where you're sitting, asking the same questions you're asking, and willing. That's the hard part. And sometimes I got to get that out of them, willing to be honest and open about it. If the question I opened with is sitting uncomfortably right now, it's probably good. That discomfort is the most valuable thing you'll maybe take out of a little bit of my sequoiatry, my conversation today. And don't let people explain it away from you. Don't let others try to smooth it over. Why don't you sit with it? Whether it's thinking tonight or going home and asking your heirs the question, look at who is sitting in the senior chairs of the family per se in the family office and ask whether they are excellent or just present. Look at what you've built and ask whether it is ready for the transition you'll agree, you'll eventually have to make. And then, if you so desire, come find me. The families that are pulling ahead here may not necessarily be the ones with the most capital. They may not be the ones with the most prestigious name or quote unquote outside advisors. They probably won't even necessarily be the ones with the longest histories. They will be the ones where family and the family office are built around the family of intent, purpose, continuity, education, and excellence in people with governance, real governance, not paper governance, ready to carry the torch, and whose principals have the wisdom to understand not to do this all alone. I'll end a bit before I talk about what's upcoming with a little bit of where I started. What is the family office for? Well, everyone, I am Angelo Robles. You could follow me across social medias. I'm at Family Office on YouTube, very active on LinkedIn. Again, you can learn more by going to my website and effectively becoming a member. It simply is my name. I know it's not the most creative use of a company name, but angelorobles.com. And there's always work and tweaking I'd like to do to the website. I'm never really satisfied with it, but I think it's pretty thoughtful, creative, and unique. And again, membership is very clearly noted on there and a way for you to instantly join and become a member. Is it the lowest cost option in the community? No. To some degree, you get what you pay for. And if the things that I spoke about today hit home, if I'm telling you, how does it sit with you? Coupled with, again, the incredible peers of what I've earned and built over decades and in my new organization, which is officially called SFO Continuity and has incredible members, some of the best families and family offices in the world. And again, I'm not the guy who's going to be most agreeable. I'm going to challenge assumptions. I'd like to hope I come at it pretty intellectually and have deep experiences in it. And I'm not here to kiss butt. So we're here to get to the truth. However, that may be specifically defined for you. So again, I know many of you are saying, Angelo, all I ever hear you talk about, and I hope I'm opening up some eyes, is AI. And I think AI is just groundbreaking from an investing, even a geopolitical, a governmental, society, and obviously practical use within the family office. And I am living in that 24/7 and think by far that I have the best resources in the family office world for that. And many of you know that I like to talk about sovereign issues, government, geopolitical issues, all things that really no one else in the family office world wants to really tackle or has a passion that they convert with knowledge to be able to provide a level of value that's going to be a value, whether you agree with me or not. And again, I want to have maybe strong opinions, but weakly held. But sure, if you want to get into the weeds about family office structures, about tax issues, about some of the governance things and some of the deeper purpose and intent that we discussed today, please don't doubt my experience in the community and the fact that I have a level of resources, internal knowledge, and incredibly deep connections about all of these topics as well. I just feel the areas that I mentioned where I have a pretty massive edge on when it comes to me practically using and doing incredible things with some deca-billionaire families relative to AI is an incredible edge that I have. But the topics that I spoke about tonight, you can hear it in my voice. I have a passion for it. It's important. I think there's other voices that also are relatively loud from this perspective, and some of them do a good job. So my distinction isn't quite as maybe strong as it is in areas around macro geopolitical or definitely AI and broadly investing. I'm extremely active in the world of investing. Tomorrow, my live, it's going to be a doozy. I think I'm going to do it at 8 p.m. Monday night, and I'm just going to share a lot of the things that me and some significant friends are doing from an allocating perspective, naming names, and mostly in public markets. So just do your own diligence and do what you want to do. So we'll see how crazy I go with that. But again, for those of you that felt, oh, Angelo never talks about some of the issues that he spoke about tonight, trust me, they are very important. They're very valuable. and they're effectively in my company name, which ends with continuity, SFO continuity. And there's some incredible deeper thinkers and thought leaders in these subjects, many of them that I've known for 20 plus years. Now, yeah, me being me, I'll get in some arguments with them here and there because I just don't want any of us to get too comfortable, and we need to challenge assumptions. In the end, I want families and family offices to be incredible. I want them to be great. So I'm going to be a little loud, a little bold, a little bit pushing boundaries. And my God, don't forget at my heart, before I got heavily active into AI a couple of years ago, really my biggest strength was practice management in family offices. I love Peter Drucker, Jim Collins. Like those are training and learning kind of under some of the incredible resources that they have. Just so much that I learned. And even books like Gary Keller's One Thing. It is just so much incredible resources, but distilling that and sharing that and the uniqueness, how it could work within the family office, especially a single family office that's very unique, is incredible. And yes, AI is now impacting all of that, including the things I spoke about tonight and with the rising generation, of course, that is going to be very valuable as well. So what's upcoming tomorrow solo? I can't wait. Again, investing is one of the things that I really enjoy. And I'm lucky I've interviewed much of the big hedge fund, private equity, venture capital managers over the years, Ray Dalio and Peter Thiel and so many others. It's just been blessed for me, all that I learn. But then as I get older and get experiences and know that things are changing now, and that's where AI is going to come into play, where I think a lot of the paradigm that from the investing perspective is very different in things moving forward. So tomorrow is going to be awesome. I'll probably do one or two other lives. I'm going to start to get back to doing some more interviews. I probably have the world leader on cyber for family offices. So we're going to go hardcore in AI and Claude Mythos. Finally, someone I could talk to about that. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I got one of the biggest names in digital and crypto. And I think we got someone in practice management. I know that may be a little boring, but now you're really getting close to my passion when you talk about that. Again, some of you are just that are newer to me. You'll only think it's single family offices and AI. I promise you, it's a lot deeper than that. And for my members as well. That will take me into the weekend. I'll be heading out to LA for the Milken Conference. I'm co-hosting kind of a house party on Sunday, beginning at 2:00. I'm doing 2 lunches next Monday and Tuesday. I think that's May 4th and 5th. And then I'm leading a breakout room at Uncorrelated Alts at the beautiful Fairmont Hotel for family offices. I might end up doing a little soiree and a dinner as well. So it's going to be a very intense kind of 3, 4, maybe 5 days in LA. Hey, if you're a member, I better see you. If you're not a member, of course, you're going to go to angelorobles.com and join so you can jump into everything that I'm doing, including those 2 private lunches. And as those are going to be incredible. So I do look forward to my travels. I don't do as much in videos. I got to start to do some more remote things. I got to get a little more consistent about that. I would agree. And there's just not many people doing kind of on the spot where you got a selfie and you're just talking. Lord knows I have no problems talking. My problem is I talk too much. I get it. Then I come back. I got some of the digital interviews. So as I noted, that will be fun. And just so much going on in Greenwich, New York, and a little bit of Jackson Hole this summer. And come on, you can't let an hour go by. And I'm not going to mention June 23rd and 24th in New York City, my beloved 2 days with the world's greatest instructors, my AI Family Office Masterclass. Those that went through it last year will tell you it was incredible. We've 3x'd it. Just so much going on and fine-tuned it since the last one in November. It's going to be great. You have to be a member to be a part of it. It's exclusive. I don't care if 3 people in a room, then they're going to get a lot of attention. A lot. We expect with my members, probably 8 to 12, maybe 13 or 14. Sure, I'll be doing another one later in the summer. Sure, I'll be doing one in the fall. And by the way, you could attend more than one, all 3 of them. And my private books and resources and programs. So I think it's a hell of a deal at angelorobles.com for you to be a member. But that is now what, like 2 months away. And I think some of you and listen to what I did on, it's up on YouTube and LinkedIn from Saturday and Sunday. Those were pretty deep on me going hardcore in family offices and AI. Hopefully, I know some of you have reached out to me that appear to have struck a chord like, oh, like maybe I do have to wake up to this. My God, look at all that's going on. So that's going to be incredible. The master classes are kind of my baby. They're intimate, in person, and the instructors are so good, often as real entrepreneurs and family offices. Like I'm taking notes when they're talking. And one of them, I'm not going to mention his name, man. It's like a fire hose. This is like the smartest guy in the world, active in AI investing in family offices. And the things that he teaches you, there is nowhere else that you're ever going to learn that. And I know it's changed how I got somewhat excellent in my use of it in the last year is primarily through him. And I'm so grateful. And I want for you, and I get it, there's the fee of membership. Like, hell, I'm a capitalist. So when you want something that's valuable, you're going to pay for it. I want to have a Brioni suit. Not that I really do. It's going to cost more than a J.C. Penney. It is what it is. So everyone, it's a Sunday night. I do have to go and smoke a cigar. Time to light up the fire pit. Enjoy a cigar. I got a busy week heading into LA. Hopefully you'll see me on some more lives. And to really make it a real relationship, go to angelorobles.com and join today. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. And yes, I agree that I need to be a little bit more diverse in some of my content. And today was probably surprised some of you, and some of you old guard in the family office world. You think that I forgot about all this? Not for a second. This is incredible stuff, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you all so much, and have a good night.